PR Connections Radio presents.
I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life. Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was studying Earl Nightingale's material. But a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material. And they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant. Hit the button, leave the information. Do yourself a favor. Sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Proctor's my coach, and he's the best. I'm Sid Maestre. I'm a Thinking in Results certified consultant. And Thinking in Results is a home study program, and we help you change your thinking, change your results. We can help you with debt elimination, job promotions, weight release, better marriage, new home, literally anything you can think of, we can help you. And what we're doing, how we help you, is to change your paradigm. And you may or may not know what a paradigm is, but we identify it as a multitude of habits that control your thinking and your actions. And we're looking for help you find the parts of your paradigm that are holding you back. And today, my guest is John Gage, a trained voice actor and a current student of Thinking in Results. Welcome, John.
Well, thank you, Sid. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on again. I appreciate it more than you know.
Can you share with us a little bit about the impact of TIR, Thinking in Results, in your life? But maybe first, what your situation was like, what your life was like when you first started this program?
Well, it's funny you ask. My life was well, let's just say my life was a little bit on the stale side. I just didn't want to go nowhere. And I didn't understand why. I didn't. I felt motivated. I felt like I was doing all the right things. I felt like I had the right situation in my life. I was doing, running my own business. But it just, you'd get those sales and then they'd come back or they'd go stagnant. And, I thought I had a good marriage. When we met, I think I'd been married for 27 years at the time. So thinking my marriage is good. My health was decent. I'm making okay money and, you know, but I just couldn't get past that hump that it seemed like, well, I just wasn't going anywhere. And didn't understand why. And like we talked before, we'd met at a networking event, and you know, you said, "Well, I can help you with that." I'm like, "Okay, challenge accepted." And I gave you the cost of the course, and took the course and went, "Oh, I'm not thinking correctly," because I thought that was a silly concept, you know, because I think all the time. I'm positive. I'm a positive person. Why do I need to purposely think positively? I do that. But we discussed, somebody cut me off in traffic. I'd be angry for hours. Something's minor happened at home. It would be, you know, oops, I dropped a fork on the floor, and it would be one of those things where nobody was happy for hours. And it was just chaotic. I had a very chaotic lifestyle. I didn't like it. And
Uh,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you about uh, how was your career? Were you going where you wanted to go?
No, it was stale. It was stagnant. Like I said before, it was just kind of running a little slow. It was just good and steady. Paid the bills, made my car payment, but I couldn't do anything else I wanted to do. And and so I started changing the way I thought. The thing about being positive and learning to think positively doesn't prevent bad things from happening in your life.
Tell us.
Well, I mean, a couple of years after we met, I developed a heart condition. By the end of that year, my ex had left with somebody else. I couldn't work because I couldn't go out and work. My heart was beating at, you know, almost 200 beats a minute on a regular basis. So it was pretty scary time, you know. But if it wasn't for thinking into results, it would have been a much harder time to get through because I'm like, okay, I know this is going to happen. I just have to. It's like that mustard seed parable that's talked about by Jesus. You know, have faith of a mustard seed. Well, that's about all I had in you. you know, that's. I wanted to make this comment because at the beginning, Bob talks about not thinking he's smart, but the facts are he is, and the reason he's smart is listening to his mentor and ran on his mentor's faith in him before he had it. And that's what happens with this program. You have faith in me, and I start running on that faith, going, okay. You're like, no, just one more day, one more day. I write that in my journal every day now. Just one more day. Just got to get through today. That's it. Because that's true. All I have is today, this moment. I just got to get through this moment. And so then I did at the end of the year finally get my heart rate fixed. I mean, this happened on June 19th. No, sorry, January 9th, 2019. And by December 13th is when they finally got my heart rate in control. You know, but it was after a total disaster. My finances are in shambles. The credit score I had going, and that was because of thinking into results. I had a credit score of almost 700. And because of what happened, because of other people, bad things happen that are out of your control. My credit score dropped to, well, let's just say it was totaled in a car by another vehicle. But it's fixable. That's the thing. All of this is fixable. You just keep working at it. It's the end goal. It's what's at the end. This is just a minor interruption. Is it going to matter in 5 years what happens to me then? No. It has no bearing on where I'm going to end up. That's what this teaches you. Keep focused. This may happen, nothing may happen. But that end goal, you stay focused on that goal and adjust your plan. Keep that goal, adjust the plan. Not the goal, the plan. And just keep moving forward. And things start happening. I mean, 2 years to follow. You know what happened to me? I ended up in the hospital several times.
John, can
Yes,
we
sir.
get back to tell me about your monetary goal that you had and where you're at now and
My monetary goal is $1 million a year
and what are
in
you doing?
income. Well, right now I'm using the current 9 to 5 that I have to earn enough money to get me moving towards getting, paid acting. And my goal is set to be making $1 million a year by December 31st, 2025. It's written down. I even have affirmation for that. I have an affirmation for my health, and I have an affirmation for a happy life.
Can you share those affirmations with us?
Absolutely. I'm happy to do so. A lot of people think that it's all financial, but it's not. It has to do with I keep them all on my phone. That way I don't lose them. But because you're normally supposed to keep a card, I changed it to phone because that works better for me. Cards end up going through the washing machine. So for my financial goal, I'm happy and thankful now that I am a successful voice actor. I work regularly, make $1 million per year. My voice talents are used in commercials, children's cartoons, movies, and audiobooks. Then I have one because my life was in a shambles there for a while. After 30 years of marriage, it's not easy. But I'm so happy now. It's unbelievable because I stuck it out and I kept that goal because I knew there was a better life for me. And got remarried and I'm very happy with my beautiful wife, Liz. And we do have goals. And what I've written down for that is I'm so happy and thankful now that I have Liz in my life. She is the reason I have multiple streams of income, allowing us the freedom to travel the world, learning local culture, making new friends, and fishing new waters.
I like that, John. Can we go back for a moment to your big goal of how long did you want to be a trained voice actor?
Oh, Lord. I thought it was silly at first. I was 22 years old because I do commercials because apparently I have a good voice. That's what I'm told. And I would do commercials for the company I was working for. I'd go in and I'd record them. And the radio people's like, you need to do voice work. But I was making good money. I was, this is mid 80s and I was making over $100,000 a year doing what I was doing. I didn't think I needed it. I did, but I didn't think I needed it. And I thought, God, that'd be kind of a fun career. Then you watch people like Robin Williams. You're like, oh, that would be so much fun to do. You're like, oh, that'd be fun to do. And then and then you see like Jim Carrey and Jack Black and all these other people that they just get out there and they have so much fun doing these characters. And I'm like, that would be fun to do.
John,
Yes,
John,
sir.
when did you take that first? What's the first serious step that you took?
The first serious step I took was in 2021 when I paid for the classes, and I paid $6,000 for it, I think, to be trained properly because I started getting serious about it. You know, I'd met Liz, and we'd been talking, and she encouraged me to look it up and see what to do. So I started doing weekly courses through this company called Such a Voice, and learned quite a bit. I still have all their studio equipment that I purchased from them, and it was a very interesting, fun way to learn. And again, like I said, I was still very ill, and I was having a lot of issues. And right after I'd finished my courses, I spent 2 months in the hospital. So there's all these issues going on that are bad things that are happening, but I'm going, this isn't going to matter. I kept telling myself, is it going to matter in 5 years? No. Yeah, this is a hiccup. Okay, so what? I still practice, I still practice, and I do the little exercises with your tongue. There's exercises you can do with your tongue, I promise, with your jaw that help you strengthen. But, so I still do those exercises, and I'm finally getting healthy enough because I could barely walk for a while, and I was having trouble breathing for a long time. But as you can tell, I'm doing pretty good now. And it's all because I kept thinking and moving forward.
Tell me about SpongeBob.
While I was doing this, my grandkids, they love SpongeBob SquarePants. I learned how to do the laugh. And it's really not that hard.
Well, show us.
Because then I would do it to entertain, especially my young granddaughter. But I go, that's all it is. Tom Kenny just is like, that's how he does it. It's like laughing into a fan. And I was like, oh, that's clever.
I like that.
You do that, and you get your grandkids to giggle, and it's like, hey, that's heaven to me. Having the little ones giggle when you laugh like SpongeBob. It's a character that they admire. But we're talking about hitting this $1 million goal. I had to reassess my goals in a sense of, how do I get to this goal here? And ultimately, the end goal is the one I read you about, Liz and I. And the only way that's going to happen is, okay, I've got the goal of getting down to 275 because I'm 6'8", and we've talked about that before. I've got the monetary goal, and I've got the goal that I just read about traveling the world, and I'm looking forward to catching all kinds of fish. Anyhow, I can already see myself doing it. And that's something you learn taking this program. You learn how to visualize that with you in that picture. But anyhow, that's beside the point. And I had to go, okay, which one do I need to concentrate on the hardest and the most and accomplish first and foremost so that the rest of the goals are accomplishable in the time frame that I want. Does that make sense?
Of course.
And that was the health goal.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I got out of the hospital on March 18th, 2022, I was told that I would be, and I went in mid-January. I was told that I probably would never walk again. I still use a cane to
transport
use
yourself
on steps, and if I'm walking long distances, I have to use a cane. And I was on 9 liters of oxygen. They told me I'd never be off of that. And I'm like, watch me. So I started doing breathing exercises, started oxygenating my pores and stuff myself. And now I get the oxygen saturation I'm supposed to get on my own. I reversed the hypoxia that was in my system and purged it out through breathing. So that was the first step. And started getting stronger by walking a little further and walking a little further. And now it's time to get the weight off. So these are all little steps that had to be done so that I can hit the goal that I have written down for that, which is I'm happy and thankful now that I weigh 275 pounds, have a 40-inch waist, 72-inch chest, 10% body fat. I walk a whole mile a day, do a full body workout 3 days a week, and I eat all natural, healthy foods, keeping my mind and body at a healthy peak performance. And I know that this is required so that I'm, with that healthy peak performance, I can obtain those multiple streams of income. That's what this is all about. That's what thinking into results teaches you. How to take all these hardships and turn them into a positive.
John, when you're speaking,
Yes, sir.
I can picture what you're talking about. And just as an aside to our viewers, and I didn't know this till I met Bob Proctor. He told me, we think in pictures.
We do.
And I had to pause a moment. And this is my personal story. I had a book on visualization. And I thought I had to do something. It was like some effort, even though I've been picturing things all my life, goals and going after them, but I didn't have a label on them. But working with Bob, putting a label on it, and what you just outlined of how you want to be. Can you tell a little bit more about what are you doing daily now, moving you towards the big goal?
Well, I do want to say one thing really quick about the pictures. When I first took the course, that was the one thing that stuck in my head. We think in pictures, because it just blew my mind that we do that. But I know I've shown these on the program before, but I have these three journals, finances, and I have 4 bank accounts now. So I'm going to end up having to hire an accountant here soon. My life journal, I write everything down in here, including prayers or whatever whoever I'm thinking about. And like today, the last line on here says, I only need to get through today. And I write that every day. I do it on weekends. I do it on holidays. It's every day. And then this one is for my health. This is the food I eat, because when you are addicted to food, you can't do like alcohol and stop. So how do you control that? Well, I control that by keeping myself accountable, and I write it all down. And I can tell you what I've had today, and it totals 680 calories so far. And I've been up, and my time is almost 4:30. It's 4:24 currently, and I've been up since 6 this morning. And I feel fine. And I know how many calories it takes for me to sit down and do nothing. I burn 4,181 calories a day. So I keep myself at a 2,000 calorie deficit. So I'm losing about 5 or 6 pounds a week, which is a good healthy pace, so that I can get to where it doesn't hurt to move. And it's getting to where it doesn't hurt near as much to move, so I can start exercising. I have resistance bands I bought. That's my next step. So I've learned to take it all in steps and figure out, okay, I got to do this step first, this step first, this step first. And it was a process, But once you learn that never change the goal ever, you set that goal, that's your goal. Adjust your plan. If the plan isn't doing what you need it to do, change it. It's that simple.
John, I think you should be teaching this.
Well, that's maybe not a half bad idea.
Well, you're teaching right now. Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship and the love of your life and how that came about?
Well, after my 30-year devastating marriage, I can laugh about it now. It wasn't funny then, but it's a lesson learned. I lived in Las Vegas. She lived in Pennsylvania. We met on Facebook by chance because we were in a Tony Robbins virtual seminar. And apparently I was saying things and asking questions. And she's like, I need to pull him privately, and because he seems to be having some issues that people here don't understand. And because I wasn't understanding a few things. And we started talking. We started Zooming once a week. And we were just friends for a long time. And then when I got really sick, we were talking over Facebook, but she decided to come see me about 2 months after that. And we didn't even kiss at that point. We didn't kiss until I got here to Florida, September 20th, 2022. That was the first time that we actually kissed. But we built that into a relationship because I decided that, you know what? I think I could love this woman. And I wrote down the goal and said, I'm happy and thankful now that Liz and I are together and we're living a happy life. And changed of my own fruition to attract her to me. And it's the best change I've ever made. But we can't change for other people, even though Liz is a motivating factor for me, a huge motivating factor. I still have to do these things for myself. The weight loss is for me. And because I want to do the traveling, I want to do and I can't do that in the condition I'm in. And I have 50 years left. That's up to me.
Well, I'm glad you got 50 years left because we only have a couple minutes left. I need to wrap it up.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
John, this is such a pleasure. And I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing how things are going, how it was. And you have such a bright future.
It's my pleasure.
And I also want everybody to know we're going to be on next Wednesday, and we're going to talk about the magic genie. That's understanding how your mind really works. And you can reach out to me at the sidmaestre.thinkingresults.com. I'd love to chat with you, get some of your thoughts on what we're teaching. And I think that's it. I'll say goodbye to John.
See you, sir.
And at the heart of thinking in results is determining what you want and discovering what's stopping you. And we can help you overcome the non-productive negative activities into positive activities, positive thinking. Because it's a 6-inch game, what's going on between your ears. Love to work with you. I've had a great experience working with Bob. And this is my passion, thinking in results. I could talk all day for this, but they do have a clock running down. They told me to wind it up. So we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. Hope you enjoyed this as well as I did.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.